Ooh, welcome back to your Idiot League Mates. All right, it's Wednesday morning. Clock just struck 11 a.m., so you know what that means. We got waivers running. I got J-Mo, Andrew, and Adam on the couch along with me today. Before we get into it, we'll give ESPN a few minutes to gather itself. But big trade just went down.
Massive.
Before we started recording. We'll throw it up on the screen between me and Casey. I get a little bit of a quarterback upgrade going from Stafford to Purdy. And then we swap out David Montgomery for Brian Thomas Jr. We had a little bit of our thoughts thrown out pre-recording, but overall.
Can I pull up your roster? Cheating?
Why is that cheating?
I didn't.
Because he might
I
be
didn't know
able
if it
to
would
see a waiver
expose.
claim.
Yeah.
No.
He wasn't trying to see
So-
the Christmas presents early.
Right.
I know you are like see all quarterbacks the same for the most part. I think Purdy is a massive upgrade over Stafford. Even like, Cup's coming back, Pook's coming back. Like that's all fairyland. Like I think today you got a massive upgrade there. But if we do go out to long term, you don't have running backs.
Yeah, no, it's a very short-term fix. I kind of just feel confident in my ability to like make moves.
Like it
and
feels
then
like you
figure it
just
out
made
later.
this trade to try and win this week.
That's the most important week I got right now.
I feel like
week.
isn't that spot on though? Like, isn't that actually true? That
Is what true?
You're making trades right now very
trying
much
to win
weekly
now.
basis.
Yeah.
Right.
On a weekly basis,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, that running back room is really, really sketchy.
For sure. But I do kind of like the wide receiver room now. Like,
For sure.
Rashi is gone, but I do feel like it kind of reverted back to what it was in the beginning of the season where when everyone's healthy in a couple weeks, it will be Nico, Amari, Olave, BTJ.
That Amari
that's
trade
true.
Well, I
helped
was
you a
gonna
lot,
say,
huh?
When you
Yeah.
started with
Yeah.
the trade, my initial thought was, you got Amari Cooper traded to the Bills, and I was like, but you actually made a trade. Your team is changing so much weekly on a weekly basis. It's crazy.
Even without you doing anything,
Right,
your
for
team is
real.
changing.
Injuries. Amari Cooper's got a new landing spot, got a new home.
Yeah, so the running back spot is going to be tough in, even maybe a week or two if, like, ETN comes back. I do think there's a chance, though, that, like, maybe ETN's hurt longer than we expect and maybe CMC never really comes back for fantasy. And,
I mean, that would be best case for you.
right.
But I think it's wishful thinking.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think this helps me at least in the next, for sure this week, maybe next week, maybe 3 weeks at like probably most. But that's all I'm kind of worried about right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think I was just surprised that Brian Thomas Jr., at least from the conversations I had with both of you guys, you were much cooler on than JSN both on that player in particular. Because I feel like BTJ's, I'm not even questioning. He's set it, forget it in a start 3 wide receiver league for me.
Yeah.
For
He's
sure.
good.
Yeah. I think he's good too. I just think he's probably one of those players that if you ask 100 people, like he has a wide range of outcomes. And I'm just kind of lower on him just based on the offense, really. I think a lot of times how I view players just comes down to the offense as a whole for fantasy. And it's like, man, this Jags team looks so pathetic most of the time that I'm just not excited about starting any of them.
No, that's fair. And I
I
think
feel like that's a little short-sighted based on like this week. Like outside of the most recent week, he was on pace for the 6th greatest rookie season. Like that's not like he's like just
Like, but like
that's
sixth
fucking
greatest
good.
rookie, is that like
Yes, that's fucking good.
that would end
Okay.
up actually being fantasy relevant, yes. But and to your point, that's what I was surprised by. I thought that was going to be more baked into it, but at least from what I hear, it's not actually part of it for why they view him lower. I think because here's the thing: if he catches that touchdown that he dropped, I mean, the entire Jags team was dropping touchdowns. To your point,
Left and right.
but if he catches that, his week isn't even that bad.
No.
Casey probably doesn't even make the trade. He probably gets like cold feet. Like
That's
fuck,
what-
he's good.
That's what I wonder. But
Matchup proof.
Yeah.
He also
matchup proof,
He also
England
though,
proof.
he did go to the Ohio State University, and he says he's just really high on JSN. So
Well,
I think I'm actually kind of with him where I think both of us are down on BTJ and both of us are kind of higher on JSN that we should be. And again, for me, it's just I'd much rather be tied to Geno Smith and this like pass heavy Seattle offense. Even if you're down in the pecking order and haven't really produced yet, I'm just like and again, I went with BTJ because I was like, unbiasedly, this is probably the route I should take. But like in my heart, I'm like, I got JSN.
maybe some Evan Ingram 10 targets overreaction a little too.
if you want to come fix your running back position eventually, I know you like DeAndre Swift, and he is available. So
All
if
right.
you need to fix the running back
Speaking of
position.
Maybe we can get something done.
Let's get for a second off of trades to
I'm
talk
working
about
something here too, just so you know.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
For the once
There's
in my
a
life,
trade
we're
working
close.
right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Big time. Let's go.
Yeah.
He's letting me know that DeAndre Swift's on the move. It's
Oh,
a
no.
hot market for Swift.
I'm saying if this trade happens that we work on, Swift may no longer be available because
Damn,
somebody
my
else
time-
left off the team.
time is of the essence.
Supply and demand, baby.
All right.
Let's get to the waiver wires because much like the trades I'm not in discussions with, I pulled all my waiver wire bids. I got cold feet.
Oh, did you?
I'm gonna be a host today.
I only put 3 in.
I only had 3, but I pulled them. I just
Like,
got scared.
this-
Actually, I
We've
put
hit
2.
definitely a dead zone, and it's probably only going to get
Oh.
more dry.
Oh, I won.
All right. So getting
I
into the
won.
waivers, Ray Davis was the big spend of the week. $22 to you, Andrew, and you drop starting quarterback Spencer Rattler.
Fuck 'em.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, you know why? Because Russell Wilson's a starting quarterback now, baby.
I forgot you picked up Russ
For
before
$0.
last week. Yeah.
I think the most surprising part, Jack for once was throwing out 20 of his own dollars.
I definitely
I like
am surprised. Imagine throwing out 20 for him and then you still lose. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of suck.
yeah. I mean,
He also like doesn't have much awareness of like how the waiver works. Neither do I. But like I don't think he knew a proper bid, even though he was very close.
Yeah.
I am very glad I upped it last second.
What were you?
My
at? Hold
bid
on.
was $18.
Wow, your average
I-
formulas.
I know, and then I was like, I've leaked the average, and now the people know the average, so now the average has to go up.
right.
That
So I went to 22. I was like, I could give him $4 more.
You know what's kind of funny too is I feel like because you did the math, nobody else did. If you just came out and was like the average is 24, I feel like we all would have just started there, and then
Yeah.
inflation would have
Yeah,
took
yeah.
from
you
there.
had the ability to set the bar for sure.
I've accounted for inflation. I am inflation in the market at this point, and now I have to now move my average up.
You
That was an
created
agenda.
this monster.
That was an agenda you dropped in that 18.
It's
wasn't
been
it?
very dangerous. It's
But
been very dangerous.
I will say, if you're wondering about if you should drop, if you're watching this and it's not already content-wise, like you should have it 11. That just happened because of the 11 o'clock thing. You just did that at the last minute. You're
Yeah.
probably not doing that late at night.
Without the extra
Yeah.
12 hours or whatever,
Right.
No, but I sat here thinking about it and started talking with you guys and some trades and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? It might be nice to just throw a couple extra dollars on Ray Davis just to make sure I lock him down if I can get him.
That was the guy I was going to go for, and I knew I wasn't getting him. I wasn't even going to be close to 22.
do you think James Cook is out another week, or you just think Ray Davis has carved out a role?
I think there's a chance that James Cook is out another week. And the other part of this is I was looking at our waiver wire I was looking at it very legitimately as to, is there anybody in here that could have high value or long-term value long-term? And there really was nobody. I mean, there's a couple guys on that waiver wire that if an injury or something happens, they might have some value. But Ray Davis, he has immediate value if James Cook is out this week. And I think he's shown us now that if James Cook gets hurt again, he is a high-value handcuff that can potentially be a league winner down the stretch. So
think that's
definitely
fair.
a guy that's worth sitting on my bench at the
Definitely
minimum.
worth $4 more.
$4 more to lock that down for sure.
Yeah, extra 2% never hurt nobody.
But I am
As
getting
we said.
slim on my dollars now. I was at 100 flat. Now I'm at
got-
what is that?
78.
78.
You're chilling.
Dude.
78 is actually, I think, so much money in this league, whatever percentage that is, because like people are so conservative that I think you can do so much damage for a handful of weeks with $78.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, you definitely can. I mean, because $12 is winning the next bid here, Dearness Johnson.
Yeah, so
There
Joe
it
is
is.
going to pick up Dearness Johnson for 12,
Hey,
drop
Joe.
Jerome Ford. Rest in peace, the Donda GOAT. Kind of lost his job.
F you, Jerome Ford.
Android losers, Nate was unsuccessful with a $6 waiver claim.
And we
Maybe
got
active.
we got teams that are hurting, just getting beat on waivers. It's a tough scene for them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
he
mean,
have ETN?
No, JL.
No.
JL.
Oh, JL
Yeah.
has ETN.
Dearness Johnson, I would you guys feel comfortable like in a pinch having to play him? He
I-
It
seemed to
was
be
his
like
deep cut of the week.
I had him
Really?
as deep cut. I watched that game in London. Like, okay, ETN leaves with a hamstring. We're already before he was hurt. Like, at least I think saying Bigsby looks better as a runner is this going to happen? Like, are we going to get the Bigsby show potentially? Well, he got hurt, and Dearness Johnson played 56% of snaps. Like, I'm watching that. To your point about the offense, just like there's so many cringeworthy things for that Jacksonville offense. Like, why am I continuing to see Dearness Johnson out here?
Why
Like,
does
way
Peterson
too
have a
much.
job?
I woke up for this shit at 9:30.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I like Tank Bigsby the talent. I think he is a very good runner in the right situations. That this kind of scares the piss out of me though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those backs that's not going to have the pass catching role in a PPR league. That
Right.
obviously like hurts quite a bit. But I still think Bigsby will get his valuable touches, and I think Dearness Johnson could
Do you
get
think
some valuable
if
touches too.
Peterson gets fired, or maybe it's when, not if.
Yeah.
Like,
Are
we'll
they waiting
see.
till they come back from London?
Maybe,
think so.
dude.
Don't fire him when you're over, across the pond.
I don't think
Yeah.
you're like there might be a law against that. Like you can't be fired if you're not on U.S. soil.
Yeah,
True.
like
The one thing about Jacksonville,
some
though, is
type of
that's like
international
their
law.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
like their home away from home. Kind of like me, I got New York and Cleveland now. It's like London and Jacksonville. For
Maybe
them.
they're often.
Dude, they have home games there yearly.
Every
That's
year.
crazy.
And now
So,
they're doing back-to-backs.
Yeah.
staying a whole
have
week out
yeah,
there,
Yeah,
like they
just-
own
We're gonna live-
land out there or something.
I don't know. I think Dearness Johnson, though, is sneaky because I think this team actually is not going to be ahead very often from what I'm
Right.
seeing. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for a third down style back like
Yeah.
him.
But going back to what you were saying, do you think that there could be like ETN could be phased out altogether if they change coaches?
That or the
Oh.
exact opposite. Like
ETN's
okay,
phased
ETN's
in.
back. Like I think if we see a new coach, he might be like, okay, we're gonna go more narrow instead of like this fucking let's spread it out between all
Maybe.
three.
That's-
I just kind of think if it's not Peterson, like the new guy would have no ties or loyalty to ETN, right? Wouldn't you just go with the better running back at that point?
That's what I'm saying. I think
yeah.
they'll go with whoever they actually think is a better one.
Okay.
Like some guy might still believe ETN's fine. He's just banged up. I don't know.
No, that makes sense. I think also, to your point, Peterson may not feel like it recently, but he's a guy that's always been known for having these ugly committees. So
Yeah, he has.
I think there's definitely a case where that's the good future look. You look at the Jets, right? Like Brees couldn't do anything, and then all of a sudden,
OC change.
OC
and
changed offensive style, totally different. Brees is looking like the old
170
Brees.
yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I that's a good call, James. I like that.
I
see.
think, honestly, I'd just like to see ETN get dealt at the deadline to somewhere else.
I know you say
Yeah.
that. I feel like Jacksonville's not going to let him go for what his real market value is.
I'd like to see
Maybe.
him
Isn't
get
this a
dealt.
contract year for him too, though? Like, are they going to plan on
It's
giving
I
him
think
a?
they, yeah, but I thought they picked up his 5th year, didn't they?
Is this not his 5th year?
This is his 4th.
This is fourth, but
This is
he'll have the 5th-year option next year. But
When's the deadline? When is it? After week 7?
I think it's week. I can't
No, I
remember.
think
We
it's
should-
closer to like 9.
yeah,
around that
we should
week.
look that
Yeah.
up. It's the
It's
next
in November.
week or two.
It's in November, November 15th, I think.
So it's 2 weeks
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
November?
yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's November 15th, if I remember seeing that correctly.
That's a full month.
Yeah, man, we might get
No,
some more deals.
I gotta check.
Yeah, we might need a fact check. but
Let's fact check that. What else? Let's fact check what else we got in waivers,
so Sean Tucker, the
wow.
best
November 5th,
fantasy
alright.
player.
5th, not 15th. Okay.
dude.
November 5th.
official.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Sean Tucker, best fantasy player I think of last week across almost all positions.
Correct.
Goes to Nate for $10. He drops Justice Hill, whatever. But are you guys surprised that
I kind of like
Sean
that.
Tucker went for only 5% of a budget?
It's a 1 week wonder.
You think so? No. You think Rashad White comes back, Tucker's like completely phased?
If White is back in the lineup, Tucker's pretty minimal.
I think there's a chance this could be talking about like ugly committees. This could be a 3-headed, I don't want to say monster because I think half of them suck, but like,
If White is in the lineup and you're starting Sean Tucker in fantasy, do you know how down bad you are?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously in the little snaps he got, he was amazing, and
Right.
you didn't even see him play much before. I think the problem is even if he ends up getting a good chunk for him, like the realistic thing is that for 3 backs is going to be like maybe he gets 25 to 33% of the work on a rosy outcome if they're all playing. You got to hope that Rashad White misses time. I think with Tucker.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
you think it's more so just a handcuff move?
It's like the handcuff to the handcuff move.
maybe.
I feel like this is one you're kind of chasing what you saw last week, and it's gonna it's gonna be very unlikely that you can ever pinpoint again when Sean Tucker's gonna be worth starting, and then he's gonna actually replicate that.
So
This
there-
is-
You're never
Do
gonna.
you think
yeah.
there's no chance that because I feel like they did play the Saints last week, so not trying to like overhype the Saints defense, but like, do you think there's no chance that Rashad White just becomes the RB3 there? Like
Yeah,
essentially
no
they're
shot,
just like
no
our
shot.
run game is so obviously better with Tucker and Bucky that we just go with those two.
Nope.
That's
And
out of the realm of
I
possibility.
think it's too big of a
It's
drop.
out for me, and it's because Rashad White is so much better in pass protection, and he's so much better in the receiving game than the other guys that it's going to be impossible to keep him off the field in those situations.
I think Bucky could take that role, but I think the problem for Sean Tucker is there's no world that exists where he's anything other than somewhat splitting the 2-down grinder role. Like, you see what I'm saying? I don't even think he could earn that whole role in a best case scenario for
You would
him.
need Rashad to stay hurt.
Like, yeah, Rashad
In all
has to go
fairness-
from when his RB3, Rashad White has to go to like RB3 on the bench.
In all fairness, Nate has Rashad on his team,
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
that is a good point.
so that
No, well,
might be
that
why.
makes the whole thing a lot different. Where it's like, okay,
I also think
I don't have-
$10.
He's getting his handcuff.
$10 is a really good just like keep him honest bid because essentially like
If somebody wants to go
5%.
crazier
That's
than
5%
that,
of the budget.
Yeah, I think it's a good bid. I put in a $0 bid.
All right.
I guess that was the next highest. But again, it's just like
Only 2 bids on him. Wow.
yeah, I don't know. Sean Tucker, like weird shit happens in fantasy. I think if someone flashes that, like you gotta throw out like some type of like keep him honest bid of like $5-10.
No, I get it. I mean, I have Sean Tucker everywhere in Dynasty, and so you'd love to see the signs of life. It's just like now I feel like, all right, it was great, but I don't know that I'm ever going to start him.
this is what we wanted in Dynasty last year before they drafted Bucky Irving. Look what you got. You didn't have to draft Bucky, dude.
I mean,
Bucky's cool in his own.
But like
in his own
Sean
right,
Tucker
though.
ended up being an undrafted kid who you were hoping to get drafted.
Yeah,
So
the medicals.
this is a guy that was probably without doing something going to be cut soon. So it's big for him.
All right, moving on. We got Isaac Guerendo going to Casey for $4. That's a great bid.
I should have left.
Yeah.
I pulled because I didn't think I would get it.
You
I was
think-
just holding my
See,
money.
this is the problem with not keeping people honest. I put in a $0 bid, assuming that I have 13 fab left, so I got to
Yeah,
be
you gotta
real wise with it. But nobody else bidding on him, I think, is kind of crazy. I don't even think that.
Dude, I had $4 on him and I took it off. I wonder who would have won that tiebreaker. Is there a way to check?
So
I don't know who has the waiver priority.
okay,
but
so here's the thing with Guerendo though.
I will agree.
You're-
I'm not high on Guerendo, even if Mason misses time. And I think at most it's probably a week, which is why I didn't drop any fab on him. But like still, just he's obviously worth like a flex play.
It definitely would have made sense for you. You have Jordan Mason. Now, that said, Guerendo, I think even if there's a couple of different hurdles here with this one. Even if Jordan Mason doesn't miss, which I am projecting him to play this week, even if he does miss, Guerendo is probably going to be splitting touches with Patrick Taylor still.
I think so too.
And
Of course he will.
this is the number one run defense that they have in
Right.
Kansas City this week. So it is
Chiefs
a
are so good.
horrible matchup for Guerendo, where you're basically plugging him in and hoping for a Hail Mary big run or a touchdown.
Well,
The thing-
I think if you're playing Guerendo, you can expect like you'll probably get like 10 rush attempts or something, which is not like nothing if you needed a flex play and was desperate. Like $4 is basically free.
free, right?
Yeah, that's pretty low because the thing about it is Guerendo, two sides of it. When you're watching, at least for me, when Mason was out of that game, Guerendo was really uninspiring, honestly, for most of the
Aside from
touches.
the one
but
run.
then it's like, what was his calling card? 4.33 speed. You got to see it at the end. I think that saved his like perception of his day.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
But those are going to happen in Shanahan's offense. Like,
That's-
you
Right.
only need one.
Yeah.
That's
he,
the-
he
exactly.
essentially could be like Matt Breida when Matt Breida was kind of their lead back there.
yep.
But again, probably not going to catch passes with Taylor there, and then you're also going up against the Chiefs.
Because the long touchdown was what, 78 yards?
He actually
Yeah.
didn't score
It
because
was
he
like
smartly kneeled.
Yeah. It was 78 yards or something though, and that means the other 8 attempts that he had went for less than 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, though, I guess at the end of the day, even if that was the case, and if that's a bad game, he has the ability any play you saw to take a 80-yarder. And this offense, I think why I wanted him, I wish I would have put more in because it's early. Right now, we're seeing a lot of the running backs start to break down. And this offense in general at running back tends to have a lot of injuries. So with CMC's uncertainty, Jordan Mason's uncertainty, you want pieces of that running back field.
That was my
Yeah.
argument with Ray Davis. Find the upside stashes here at the running back position, and Guerendo's one of those guys, I guess.
Yep.
Don't
So,
hate.
Dang.
I'll hate.
all right.
Well
next
done.
waiver-
Loop.
The rich get richer, man. Casey gets him for $4, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great pickup for him. Tyler Huntley gets picked up by Sexy for $1 as he drops Ty Johnson.
You think he's going to pick up Rattler now that Rattler went to the waiver wire?
Probably. I mean,
I
I would
think-
much rather
I'd
have
I'd
He's
rather
got
have Rattler
Huntley.
than Huntley.
Dallas on bye, so he needs.
But right now, I'm pretty sure he has Tank Dell as a super flex. Like, I think I'm playing Tank Dell over Huntley.
I would too.
Like 10 out of
No,
10 times.
no
Okay.
question. There's no way for him to put Tank Dell in his flex? And, is there a better option
He's
for
got a deep team like
He
B.
does.
Rob, Malik.
Yeah, like you're not really going to move B-Rob out of your lineup as
I
long
guess
as he's
it's like,
healthy.
would he rather like pop Douglas?
Right.
Or, no, I guess
Well, it's
that's-
Keon Coleman or Tyler Huntley at this point,
I guess
or
probably.
Jalen
Okay.
Wright or Tyler
you go.
Yeah,
Huntley.
no, it's actually Keon or Huntley.
No, that makes a lot of sense now because I was like,
Yeah.
there's another spot there that makes, at least for a week, that's a quick patch.
I
I'd
think
probably
Keon, I think,
go-
is totally droppable if he didn't trade for him.
I think he drops
Yeah.
Huntley and he picks up Rattler and plays
Probably.
Rattler on Thursday night against the Broncos with no Pat Surtain.
Interesting.
Probably. Riley was kind of moving too.
He has the same upside as Huntley as a rusher, but he's a better passer.
There is no,
Yeah.
there's really no upside.
Well, it's
with
also
Huntley.
just like
It's fair.
What is Huntley even?
Vibes-wise, you have more hope with Rattler. Like, we've seen
Yeah.
Also,
Huntley-
we'd rather just watch Rattler play than
Exactly.
Huntley.
Like,
Well,
it
like,
just hurts.
Do it just to watch Rattler.
We've seen Huntley, what he's going to be in his upside would be like in an offense where it is really successful running the ball in Baltimore or something. Rattler's, you got the hope of what could be, you know. Huntley we already know. Is there anything else? Or is that it? The last one?
Sexy was not able to pick up AOC because he got Huntley probably. And then, hell yeah, I got my boy Tutu back for the free.
Tutu.
Oh, my God.
So Tutu was a guy that before I made the BTJ trade, was like probably going to start if Cooper Kupp is out again, which it kind of looks like. Are you guys projecting Kupp to play?
We projected him to play in our rankings, but it's probably 50-50.
It sounds optimistic. I hope that he could play, but I'm not 100% confident. No.
Yeah. And Tutu was another guy that when I was going through the Guerendo pickup, like I was thinking if Mason misses, I'll need a flex because Najee will just go to my RB spot and then the flex will be open. And it's like, if Mason's out, would I rather play Guerendo or Tutu if Cooper's out? And I was like, I think at that point, I'd almost just rather play Tutu against the Raiders. So again, another reason why I didn't want to bet any money on Guerendo, but I don't know. I'm excited for Tutu if Kupp's not there.
Honestly, like the Raiders just got abused again, and they are trading away Adams. That's seems like
so bad.
it seems like a defense to be
They're
had.
just losing life, too.
That,
They
yeah,
got nothing to fight
Antonio
for.
Pierce is next. They're going to cut his
Yeah.
ass.
Tom
out
Brady
of the
about to
way.
walk onto that field and strap up as a
Yeah.
partial
Every
owner.
player, like, vouch for Pierce. It's enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can feel the culture is starting to not.
Adams was
have that
one of
same
the guys pumping Pierce up, and then he said, "Give me the fuck out of here."
Yeah, for real.
I mean, they don't have a QB. Like, you just can't.
Yeah,
How the fuck do they beat Baltimore?
NFL's
guarding it,
a
yeah.
crazy beast, isn't it?
I saw
So
my name
weird.
again.
Yep. You were successful.
Zach
You
Ertz.
picked up Zach Ertz
Damn,
for
you
Pat
just
Freiermuth.
drop Pat.
Yeah, man. Look,
Wow.
so here was the plan. I'll tell you the plan with Pat Freiermuth. When I was at the draft, the plan was to take Hawkinson late, throw him on the IR, get me a guy that I felt like I could have some high upside and play the tight end position until Hawk was back. So it seems like Hawk is at least trending to play this week. Whether he's going to be active or not, we don't know. But if I need one more week of a tight end, because I'm planning on only rostering one tight end the rest of the way. It's just Hawkinson in the lineup every week. Don't worry about it. Keep the bench space open for something else. But right now, I like the matchup this week for Ertz over Freiermuth.
Oh, he plays the Jets.
Who? Ertz?
Pat.
Patty,
Pat
plays
yeah.
Pat
Jets.
plays the Jets, and Ertz plays the Panthers.
Easy
So
money.
give me Ertz this week if he has to go. If not, I'm cutting Ertz, and it's TJ Hawkinson time here for the Motley Crew.
There you go.
Go
Yeah, sounds
ahead.
good.
Dang. How the mighty have fallen. Patty Freiermuth, once chosen. You know.
Hey, he was a good fill-in for 6 weeks.
How did he do for you? I actually feel like he's been uninspiring. Is that not true?
As uninspiring as the tight end position has been, he is like what, tight end
To be
8
honest,
on the year right now.
Outside of last week, though, he really hasn't killed you, it feels
No,
like.
I mean I'm getting
With how tight ends have been
7,
playing.
16,
Yeah.
9.
Probably
Last
beat
week,
Mark Andrews.
I mean, you saw
Dude.
the touchdown that Fields was
Right.
over the line of scrimmage or whatever, but everybody hated that I complained about that shit. I wasn't saying that it was a bad call. I was just saying that it was annoying that I saw him score a touchdown and then I didn't get points.
What's crazy is
But-
think about what you just said, and you look at this box score. So he had one game of 50 yards and a touchdown, and you're saying he's holding serve with the tight end position to give you the landscape. It's crazy because he's currently tight end 8.
He gave me enough.
Dude, that's insane.
Like, that's enough to get through. And now we got Hawkinson, who I think is going to hopefully smash those
So-
types of numbers.
I
I
mean,
guess
tight end's so bad. I picked up Hunter Henry last week before games, and I'm excited to play him.
I guess the reason I'm a little surprised, but
And Drake.
everything
Yeah.
you said strategy-wise makes sense. I get it. You're more bullish that Russ is going to be the starter this week than I am. I feel like
Correct.
that would be something that might bode well for Pat Freiermuth.
The matchup's still bad. And I think really it comes down to, like, yes, that should bode well for Freiermuth, but I think when it comes down to the Jets versus the Panthers matchup,
Sure.
I'm more confident that Ertz can go 4 for 50 and a touchdown this week than I am that Freiermuth does that.
Okay.
So I'm just taking the shot on Ertz. I'm really hoping that I don't have to use him. That's why I only bid $0. I'm
Yeah, put
hoping
him
I
back.
don't have to use him. I can just drop him
You might
once.
put the fish back.
Yeah, and throw him back, and then I can pick up a running back or something like that off of waivers.
Okay.
Yep. Classic streaming tight end move.
Yes, sir.
I'm
just glad to
pick
have
up Alan
Hawk back.
Lazard,
Thank
didn't pick
God.
up Alex Pierce, didn't
That's
pick
so
up.
We-
crazy.
we-
Lazard still doesn't have a fucking job.
Dude, no,
Bruh.
I thought was crazy is that, I mean, I think Devante Adams is going to play, but if he,
Fair.
like, he is dealing with a hamstring issue. Like, if he doesn't play, I feel like
A
think
hamstring issue.
I feel like if he doesn't play, I'll go out on a limb. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I feel like the hamstring has nothing to do with it. I feel like this hamstring's
think so?
about as fugazi as could be.
I think it was probably fake, but I also do think if like I do kind of think that the hamstring might have pushed this trade to the Jets off a week or two. Just because, like, do you think
I
if
just
Devante
think it
Adams
was totally bullshit.
I
it was
think-
absolute. It was
Yeah.
I
James
think
Harden
so.
in a fat suit.
I was actually calling that last year.
100%.
yeah.
And I was surprised that you saw on the documentary how he was saying, like, I need to get out of here. I'm fighting for
sure.
my
Yeah.
life, essentially. I'm surprised it took till this year to happen where he just goes, like, diva, like, no, dude, I'm not playing for this team with no quarterback. No, we're not winning. Like, what's the upside for him? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think the hamstring injury from him was a polite way for him to say, I'm not playing. You can't find me because I'm hurt. And now the trade has been forced. And he's even said already, like, he was in the Pat McAfee show with Rodgers the other
Yeah.
day. Like, he's like, I'm trying to play this week.
Right.
I think, too, the trade, the timing of it, to me, is more so that this Jets team now has no options if they want any chance of this Rodgers thing to happen. Like, it's got to happen now. I think after losing last week, I think that's why it's so timely today. I
guess so.
I think that draws more into it personally than like the Adams hammy. But
I still don't know they'll win. Like TJ Watt's gonna eat Tyron Smith.
I mean, the Steelers defense is still a problem, no question.
Now that Adams and Rodgers are back together, this is the week that Rodgers like breaks a kneecap.
Yeah, he'll get hurt.
Bro, do not. Holy shit.
I'm
Imagine if
just
you-
saying, like this. I just feel like that's how.
You
shit
imagine
works.
if you went through the
He's
fake,
got no O line.
if he had the fake hamstring that he
And
went
it's
through just to
Tyrod
get
Taylor.
traded to the team that he wants to go to for to have no quarterback again. Oh no.
Yeah.
And he just restructured all his money too. So I saw something the other day that was like when they were on the Pat McAfee show. It was like I already know that Aaron Rodgers and Devante Adams slept in the same bed last night.
Yeah,
Like they had a sleepover at the house. Aaron Rodgers and him were chilling.
Dude, it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. But this is one of my favorite segments of the show where
All
we
this-
get to take the covers off and see what Tony had the zeros for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pierce, Lazard, Bub Means.
Still, like Lazard is like a top 15 on the year,
Dude, if Lazard, I actually think Lazard.
and
if-
none of us give a fuck.
No, this
Why
was-
don't you
this
pick
was-
him up then?
This was going to be the week that like I feel like people spent for Lazard, and then as soon I literally put in my fat bid, trade went through, took it off.
Dude, I'm telling you, I 100% would have bid on Lazard.
But there's got to be worse guys owned out there.
I
in
think
our
that's
league.
why. Obviously, you should be high on Adams, but even more so, think Rodgers is just so comfortable with the guys that he knows and is going to run the routes where he wants them to be. He'll just throw the ball up to Lazard when he's not even looking for it yet.
Mike Williams might as well be cut.
But that's the thing. When you don't have that same rapport and he doesn't trust you, you see what happens. He throws the ball to Williams and it doesn't look like they're
And he
in
blames.
sync.
So there's no like, oh, we need to be better. It's like Mike fucked up.
Dude,
I'm pointing my finger.
I've thrown it to the red line. He's up.
Yeah.
The post game.
It's
he was
never-
cutting up at the post game.
It's never Rodgers' fault.
but it was also like not a great ball.
no.
No.
It
Like,
was
that wasn't
underthrown
even-
like a motherfucker.
He's not taking responsibility for that pass.
Whatever,
No, absolutely
Rodgers.
not.
Son
Do you
of
think
a
there's any
bitch.
chance that Lazard, presumably the 3, like, is there any chance he still holds some type of value? Like,
In
should
best ball.
he?
Yeah.
In best ball?
I just
Not
can't
in a
imagine
lineup
you're gonna
league.
start him in a lineup league unless you're super desperate.
But like Rodgers is weird. He likes his guys.
Yeah, we were saying though that it's probably going to get more condensed. Like it's going to be Adams, Garrett, Hall, and then
Yeah.
there's not a
But,
lot
like,
left for
compared
everybody
to the
else.
waivers, like I would rather start Lazard than like Gabe Davis. Like when it comes to that risk type play.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think did Gabe Davis get left?
Not that that's like a flex. Oh, I'm better than Gabe Davis.
Wait a minute. Speaking,
But-
I
hold
mean,
on.
our waivers are
Speaking of
ass
which,
right now.
Speaking of which, I think Gabe Davis got left on waivers.
Yeah.
You did.
That's
did.
that's
Because
awesome.
we're sharp.
Right, but like, I guess the point is
Nobody wants Devon.
he does want like his guys, and that's the appeal with Lazard. But now Garrett Wilson, that touchdown, he was like technically the third read there, but he was the only read. That ball was going to him the whole time. It's like he's forcing it to Garrett Wilson. Now you force it to 2 people, and Lazard will get his sprinkle in, but it's going to be a heavy dose of those 2, I think.
I guess it's just like I don't know why I'm saying this because it's not like I picked him up and he's still a free agent.
Yeah, he's
but-
still out there.
Yeah, he's still out there. I'm not trying to hype him up too much, but he was wide receiver 15.
I think he might be better. I think I was
Dude,
like
he's
conservative.
Okay, but now
he's
with-
had 2 top 10 weeks. I
now
believe.
with Adams, like if he falls to the wide receiver 35, shouldn't he still be rostered?
Yeah, that's what I'm
like
saying, dude.
how much decrease? It's almost like we're expecting him to be dead.
Well,
which
I
maybe
guess-
he is, but like it is just kind of weird that he's not owned by anybody.
The reason I say I get your point, but like right now, even with no Adams, the weeks you want him are the boom weeks, which he's had 114 yards, a touchdown, 89, and 2 touchdowns week 1. The other weeks,
But,
like
I
his
mean,
targets and yards are
double
basically
digit points in 5 out of 6 games.
right.
Yeah.
But okay, but that's the point though. Like, do you think with only one guy like Wilson, I think those weeks are.
That's
you just
fair.
keep shooting your shot.
But, I mean, look,
do you think how
So
many?
he falls to
there's
like
the
wide
argument
receiver
he's better than
65
this
now,
guy, right?
probably.
That's the thing. I think the difference
Even
is
is that Ayuk?
Tyler
one. I don't think
Lockett.
the ceiling's going to be as high, even if he has a good game. But two, I think the floor is going to fall out.
Yeah.
Like right now, even if you look at 4 and 5 weeks, 4 and 5, like those didn't hurt you really.
Maybe I'm like delusional, but like the offense looked good.
No, the offense looked. The scary part is the offense looked 100% different, so much better. And now you're getting Adams.
Like if you could tell me he's gonna consistently throw between 230, 280, like that's
It's like we all knew that Nathaniel Hackett sucked ass. Like, why was he an offensive coordinator in the
It's just
first
Aaron
place?
Rodgers' boy.
wide receiver 11.
It's the same thing
What
with
are we
Lazard.
doing?
We know
wide receiver 11 on the
him
team.
up.
Lazard. We know Lazard sucks ass, but he's Rodgers' boy, so we put up with it. Same thing with Hackett. We know he sucks ass,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like that's Rodgers' boy, so we put up with it.
But
Wide
now,
receiver, this is
Because-
a wide
wide
receiver
receiver
one
one
on the
on-
year.
what do you think the odds are? Okay, let me ask you this, because right now we have 6 weeks in. The fantasy football playoffs start week 15. So from
14,
weeks
I think, or 15, yeah.
15, yeah, week 7 to 14. What do you think his wide receiver finish will be in that window? If you had to guess,
I wouldn't play him against Pittsburgh. I wouldn't play him against New
But I
England.
still
no,
think
I
think he
I know
finishes
what you
top
like wide
40.
receiver.
no, not what's that? You
He's
think-
top 40.
You do? I would take that bet up with you if
that
you
he
want.
finishes back for
40
take
the
it,
rest of the way.
So no.
Take
So
it,
so
take
his
it.
fin.
He would
like-
have to fall so far.
No,
J-Mo.
You're saying-
I'm not.
we got a bet here.
Oh
we
no,
got
I
a
see
bet
what you're
here.
saying.
We got
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bet
I
Week
here.
see.
7
from here
through-
on out. First
Yeah,
6
so like
weeks
we're
didn't
filtering
count.
it out. Week
Right.
7 to 14, I would definitely say outside of wide receiver 40, I'm betting.
Okay, think about this. What if there's a possibility Garrett Wilson's the odd man out?
I was thinking that. Like Rodgers likes his guy.
You can give me Garrett if you want.
I'll tell you what. I won't go down that path. I feel like that's taking candy from a baby. But I will do the wide receiver 40 thing with Lazard if you want.
Garrett
What's
Wilson
the
has
bet?
to be
Oh
the.
no, I
Sorry.
wasn't betting he would outperform Garrett. It just
No. I'm saying I don't want that. That's not. I'm saying, do you want to take a bet week 7 through 14? He is going to be a top 40 option. I'll take under
What's the?
What's the bet? What are we betting?
anything. Something minimal.
Lunch?
Yeah.
All right,
Chipotle.
Wherever you want to
40's
go.
good though. 40. If he's 40 flat, I'll
40 is a JMO win.
You have 40. I'll take 41. Yeah. 100,
40 and a half.
40 and a half.
40 and a half.
I'll
Dub.
go
Yeah.
under.
From
Dub.
7.
Dub. I
Love
this.
that.
There you go.
Are
I
we
like
gonna
that. I like
count?
that. Alan Lazard is still going to be relevant in this
and I-
office
yeah.
for a little
No
bit.
one owns him, but we have something on him now.
Right.
I,
There you go.
I also,
I need like 3 touchdowns in the next 7 weeks. I feel good.
if I'm wrong, I won't even be mad. It'll be like, damn, this kid's still producing. Like I was just dead
Right.
wrong.
Well, you at least still get to go take him out to lunch, even if
100%.
you're wrong. So
I'll eat wherever I have to with him too. I know it was, with lunch is probably picky for you. Only a few spots you go to.
Chipotle's
Chipotle
hard.
works.
you get-
Chipotle's a
you
lot.
take him to Chipotle. There you go.
W. Let me ask you. There was one other guy there. Oh, Andrew had his stash of the week or deep cut of the week. I'm sorry, Bub Means.
Bub.
You took a shot on him. Do you think anyone will pick him up, or do you think he's just going to hang on waivers now?
Nah,
I mean, the problem is now he plays tomorrow. So if you pick him up, you have to pick him up tonight. And I can't imagine now that anybody's really looking his way. We'll see what he does. I think he's. I mean, look at last week.
That stat
15
line's way better
points.
than I thought it was, to be
5
honest. 8 targets. I
Look-
didn't realize he got it like that.
He got
He's
force
gonna
fed once
be-
Olave went out.
Yeah.
He's going to be the number 1 for the Saints this week. And I just said on our waiver, or not our waiver show, our wide receiver show, that if you really need a plug-in guy that you can pick up off of waiver wires, this is the guy. I mean, look, he's 0.6% rostered. Going straight off of the waiver wire into your starting lineup, I think you can plug him in this week and get something decent.
It's a sharp call. Unfortunately, we haven't contributed to adding him to the rostership yet, but we might.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I spent my money on Ray Davis, so sorry, Bub, you get to stay on the waiver wire.
I think the tough part is he plays Thursday. Like you don't have time to sit and think about Bub Means. You just got a instant reaction, and it's always going to be, no, I'm good.
Fire from the hip. Yeah.
I think it's good for anybody who has Olave. If you don't have other options and Olave's missing, you can throw Bub in.
Sure.
I think the highlight though of today is the agenda, right? Like you're on the clock, gonna draft somebody. Hey, would you draft this guy? No, I wouldn't take him. Then the very next pick, he takes him. Andrew's out here. $18 is what you need to be at to bid 22. Sneaky winning.
Yeah.
The antics are
Inflation.
crazy. Well done,
I like it.
Ray Davis.
All right. So those were all the waivers for week 7 of your Idiot League Mates. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Hit the thumbs up. And we back for some more Idiot League Mates.